guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with some romances I have been absolutely obsessed with lately, and I do want to address, I'm like already thrown off. I did rearrange my library. I added an entire new bookshelf. These are all of my fantasy books, and it's so pretty, and I do have a video all about me building these bookshelves and arranging things, and I do have a video of me unhauling all of these things. I don't know which is out yet because I'm pre-filming for Bookmas. It's been a lot of filming and a lot of editing, but I am very excited to chat about this video because I have so many books I have been loving lately. Before we get to the recommendations, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Megan Quinn. I actually read the previous book in this series. This is book 4 in the Vancouver Agitator series, and the previous book was so good. I gave it 5 stars, so I'm very, very excited for the next book in the series. We have a hero who is pining after the heroine, and I am obsessed with a good pining romance, and in this situation they're actually roommates, so he is pining for his roommate, so there's forced proximity there. They are forced to constantly be around each other as he has this giant crush on her. And my favorite part about this series is how fun the teammates are and how much they like to joke around and how close they are with one another. So in this one, it's actually his teammates' fault that they are roommates. They are trying to push them together as soon as they figure out that she's single and that he really likes her. They're like, you guys are gonna be roommates, and they're trying to give him different tips like don't wear a shirt around her and try to entice her. But then he is so madly in love with her, he will do anything for her, that when she is going to a wedding where her ex is, he offers to be her fake date to make her ex jealous, and that is his night to just touch her as much as he wants to, show her how much he really likes her without having to risk things because she thinks it's fake. And then when the night comes to an end, he's like, I don't want any of this to end because he just likes her so much. And I am obsessed with a smitten hero. So this one has so many tropes that I'm obsessed with, and it's just the perfect combination of them. We have roommates, we have fake dating, we have forced proximity, we have a fun family of teammates, and a pining hero obsessed with the heroine. So definitely check this one out, especially also if you love hockey romances too, because did I mention he's a hockey player? And this one just has everything I love in a book, so definitely check out He's Not My Type by Megan Quinn, and thank you so much to her for sponsoring this video. So the book I want to start with for the recommendations that I have been obsessed with lately is Wreck My Plans by Jillian Meadows. This one I did read as an arc, and it is a holiday romance, Christmas romance, and it is so good. So first off is an age gap. It is about a 10-year age gap, and they have known each other for a very long time, for like 10 years. So since she's been 19, she's had the biggest crush on him, and he has had the biggest crush on her because he is her brother's best friend. And something happened 3 years ago though, because he has always been around the family and spends a lot of holidays with them because he doesn't have a family of his own, and he ended up leaving town and never came back for a family holiday because of reasons. And she was not supposed to come back for Christmas this year, but she does because she gets fired from her job, and he thought she wasn't going to be there, so he said he would be there. So now they're forced to be at Christmas at her parents' house together and forced to confront some feelings that they both have because they've both been pining after each other. And like I said, I love a good pining romance. So this one had so much angst and emotion and some forced proximity because they end up going on a road trip together at one point. They are snowed in somewhere at one point and have to figure out who takes the couch and the bed at her parents' house, and they're around each other all the time. And he is tattooed, and it is such a good romance. I was obsessed. So if you want a good holiday romance, read this book. Then I have a new release. So a bunch of these actually are new releases because I've been on a new releases kick lately, but we have Caution to the Wind by Gianna Darling. I did an entire vlog of this for my Patreon, which was a lot of fun. I went back and reminisced of when I first read this series and when I read Welcome to the Dark Side. I actually inserted a clip from 2018 into that vlog, and I have loved this series for 5 years now, and so I'm really excited that book 7 came out. This is Axeman and May's story. It is a best friend's dad romance, but he is only 16 years older than her. He is the stepdad of her best friend, but they've been in each other's lives since she was younger, and they went through a tragedy together. When she's 18, she realizes she's in love with him. Something happens though, and he has to go to prison for 8 years. So now she's 26, and she's back in town and has not seen him since he went to prison, and he hates her guts. So there's a ton of romantic suspense in here, which I absolutely loved. We have MC, it's dark, it's angsty, and so much is happening. May is such a fun character though because she can really take care of herself. She's trained in different fighting, and she is willing to jump into situations that Axeman's like, I don't want you getting hurt, and she's like, I'm gonna take care of myself. And so I love this so much desperation and emotion and anger in their romance, and it was so good. I loved it. You have to check the series out if you haven't yet. I do recommend reading it in order because there is an overarching overarching like plot of the suspense throughout a lot of the books, and this definitely picks up right after Dead Man Walking, which is book 6 in the series, so check out the rest of the series. But I love this one, and it's a chunky book. It is so long. I didn't even check to see how many pages this was. 584 pages. It's a long one. We have another motorcycle romance that I was absolutely obsessed with, and that is Where We Started by Ashley Munoz. This one I picked up because I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, this is a new release I'm very intrigued by. And then I saw her at a signing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I saw this. I'm just gonna buy it because I really want to read it, and it's a motorcycle romance. I thought it was just small town. It is actually an MC romance, and oh my gosh, was it so good. It's second chance, very angsty. I think she left town. I don't know how many years has gone by. I don't remember. It's been quite a few years since she left town, and they broke up because they just could not make it work together. And it's because her dad is a president of a motorcycle club, and she always wanted out of that life. She wanted away, and he was always her safe haven, the hero. And then things happen. She leaves. She has to come back into town for her dad's funeral, and her ex is now the president of the motorcycle club. And it's very angsty. They have to address old feelings. There's a little bit of danger and suspense happening as well because of the MC, but I was obsessed with everything about this romance because they obviously were really angry at each other for her leaving and for why she left, and it is so good. There were secrets going on with the club as well, so if you at all love motorcycle romances, you have to read this book. Then I have The Puck Secret. This one is a hockey romance, and it is so angsty and emotional, and I just am obsessed with the emotions that were in this book because the hero and the heroine hate each other. Her dad was having an affair with his mom, and her dad was a mayor, and he ended up firing the mom when it kind of got around, and so his mom is like not working a great job, and he's really angry at her family. So in turn hates her and her brother, who is his hockey teammate. They are at college where he plays for the team, and she ends up one night sending this really emotional text to what she thought was her best friend, but she typed in the number wrong and ends up going to him. But they don't know it's him. They start this kind of anonymous friendship where they get really vulnerable with each other and get a little flirty with each other and start falling for each other through text. And then something happens where they have an anger-fueled hookup in real life and start liking each other in real life and not knowing they're falling for each other through text. And it gets very angsty and emotional because there's a lot of feelings and a lot of damaged feelings, and it just is so good. She's also engaged to someone by her father, which she doesn't want to do, but she's kind of being blackmailed by her father to marry this guy who's awful. And so the hero does get protective, and it is really, really, really good. I was shocked. I loved everything about this book. I could not put it down. I was obsessed. If you want a hockey romance, takes place in college with lots of emotion, read this one. Then I have one of my favorite books of the year, which is After the Storm by Laura Pavlov. This is a second chance romance, and I was obsessed with this romance. Like from the moment I started it, I was like, this is gonna be a new favorite. So angsty. If you can't tell from this video, I'm obsessed with angsty romances, and in this one, they were madly in love when they were in high school and in college, but they had such different lives, and it was definitely the right person, the wrong time. They could not make a relationship work, and they acknowledged that, and they went their separate ways. She moved to a big city to be a lawyer. He stayed in a small town to be a vet, and he ended up having a baby with someone, and she ended up marrying someone. She is now getting divorced, and he is now a single dad, and she comes back into town because something is wrong with her father. She's taking care of him and is forced to confront him. Actually, he hears she's in town, and he's like, I'm just gonna like rip off the band-aid. I'm gonna go seek her out, say hi, and we're just gonna move on. Well, she spends so much time with them. His daughter's adorable, really takes a shine to her, and really, really likes her, and it was so good. She fell so madly in love with him and his family all over again, and he's still really close with her family. They have a group chat with all the siblings in the series, and it's so cute, and I loved every second of this book. So angsty. You can tell she just doesn't want to leave him, and she's madly in love, and it's so good. And there are secret tattoos in here, which were so good as well. So read this book. Then I have Tame the Heart by Ava Hunter. This one is a small town romance, and the heroine does have a heart condition, and she's lived all of her life really playing it safe. Her dad and her brother really smother her, and so she decides to complete this bucket list she has and leave and just go across the country, and she lands at the hero's farm, and she ends up working for him for his social media because they had an incident that's not great for publicity, so she decides to help and gets free lodging at the ranch. And the hero has a lot of damage in his past. They're both not being honest with one another, but they won't tell each other the truth unless the other one does. They're kind of at a stalemate, but then they start spending time together and falling in love together. And they call it Runaway Ranch because he is running away from a loss in his past that he's really not over. But I loved his brothers. His brothers were so much fun, and she really fell so hard for the family, and they fell so hard for her. And there's someone sabotaging some things around the ranch as well, which had a little bit of romantic suspense, which I absolutely loved. So this was a lot of fun, and I love the small town aspect, and it was very emotional, which I was not expecting. So loved this one. If you want to try out a new small town author, definitely check out Ava Hunter. And the last one I have is The Phantom of Drury Lane. This one is a historical romance, and it's actually a novella, but I loved it. I usually don't love novellas, but this one, it was, I think that he's best friends with her brother, and when they were younger, he actually really liked her, but he was like, I can't like her, so he was really mean to her, and she hates him. And so he goes off to, I think it was Waterloo, and she goes and travels, and now they're back, and he owns this theater, and there's this ghost in the theater, or this phantom, and there's a bet going on of who can find out who it is, and so he eggs her on and bets her to find out who it is, and they spend some time together, and they end up falling in love. And it's so cute because they both were pining after each other, but both of them thought it couldn't happen for different reasons. But I ended up loving this one. There was not a slow moment, and the romance was so swoony for such a short book. So if you want a novella that is a lot of fun, that is historical romance, check this one out. And those are all the romances that I've recently been obsessed with. Definitely check all of these out. They are all just screaming my favorite tropes. We have angsty, we have emotional, we have second chance, and we even have different kind of sports or small town. So check out all of these for whatever you're in the mood for. And I want to thank Megan Quinn again for sponsoring this video. Definitely check out He's Not My Type for more of my favorite tropes with hockey and pining and roommates and fake dating and wondering if he's really not her type or if he is after all once they spend some time together. So check this out, and thank you so much to her for sponsoring this video. And that's all I have. Let me know if you've read these and what you've been obsessed with lately. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.